Hello, everybody. My name is Kerry Cooper, and I am a coach and HR business partner within the Clover HR team. And today's webinar is brought to you by Clover Coaching, which is part of the Clover HR service offering. And with nearly 20 years experience in HR and communications, I've seen how meaningful conversations help managers and employees to be more focused on the job in hand, achieve their goals, and be more engaged. Clover HR offers organisations coaching expertise, providing confidential one-to-one coaching and team sessions with employees or managers, either in person or video call. So just to let you know that we've muted participants to make sure that the background noise is kept at a minimum. And should you wish to ask a question, then please raise your hand and I'll come to you in the Q&A section at the end of the webinar. So in terms of Clover HR, we are your trusted people advisors and we're here to help you in any way that we can. We have over 150 years of experience between us all, so we can ensure that you get the best service advice that we can give. And we're able to provide value and support in all of these areas. We have specialisms in the areas of people, from recruitment, training, coaching, well-being, rewards, and many other people strategies. So this picture was taken at our last team gathering back in March 2020, prior to lockdown, and that's me at the centre middle. We do have a few new team members, and I'm sure that as soon as we can all get together, we will be having an updated photo. So today we'll be talking about the effects of perfectionism, lack of self-belief, and confidence issues in the workplace. So firstly, we'll look at the effects of perfectionism specifically. We'll then look at how the lack of confidence and self-belief affects the workplace. We'll then look at managing lack of confidence and self-belief by using coaching. We'll then look at coaching and what to expect from coaching. And then we'll look at the coaching offer that we have in place. And following that, you'll have the opportunity to ask any questions that you may have. So at the end of the session, we'd really value your opinion, and because we want to bring you the resources that you need and interest you, just before we finish, you will be asked to complete a short feedback survey, and we'd really appreciate you taking a few minutes to complete it. 2020 and 2021 are proving challenging times, but it is good to look forward and plan positive changes, and coaching is well placed to support personal transformations. We suggest it's best to start with bite-sized and achievable changes, small steps towards changing your confidence, building assertiveness, tackling problems, or whatever you choose to work on. These small, realistic changes are targeted to what the client needs, where they need most support, and they add up to make a big difference to their life. So let's have a look at the effects of perfectionism. A perfectionist is a person who has to get everything just right. It's somebody who has excessively high standards. And this is actually different to somebody who's working to quality standards that are expected by their employer, because in that instance, the employee has a healthy pursuit of excellence and they're generally motivated by enthusiasm, and the person feels generally okay about themselves. They're not afraid of failing, and that person can show vulnerability. Whilst on the other hand, the perfectionist is motivated by fear of failure. So that's quite a negative way of being. And in failing to reach a goal, they then feel failure as a person. The perfectionist is never satisfied by achievements, needing to constantly strive for more and more. The perfectionist is also somebody who keeps emotions under tight control and has a fear of showing vulnerability or losing control. So it might be that you recognise some of that within yourself. You might know somebody else within the workplace or outside of the workplace where you see that those kind of behaviours are dominating how they're acting, how they're behaving, and affecting their overall well-being. So perfectionism can be unproductive because, unlike most of us who reach a stage in a task where putting in more effort will only bring marginal gains and we recognise it's time to stop and focus on something else that's more profitable, the perfectionist has difficulty letting things go and difficulty varying their standards according to the time available and the effort needed. Moreover, to keep in control, and this might be subconscious, it might not be a conscious thing that a perfectionist is doing, the person can also procrastinate on the task so that other people are waiting on them. And this also buys them time to finish the task. They feel more in control because they're holding back and waiting, because then they give the piece of work when they're ready. This can result in stress and anxiety, not only for that person, but also frustration for their colleagues and overall issues with productivity. Moreover, a perfect standard is absolutely subjective. It's a person's perception. So therefore, perfect cannot most often not be clearly defined objectively. And so that means that the task can become limitless, and sometimes it's difficult to measure it. Well, it is, because we don't know what the goal, we don't have an outcome, so how can we measure it? Even worse, because perfectionism is an unobtainable illusion, it can make a person feel like they're failing, and that person can become vulnerable to depression. So if we look at a line manager with perfect standards could indeed project these onto their direct reports, and that can cause some discomfort, disengagement. Their team can actually feel like they're working to an impossible standard. And a colleague seeking perfection could expect the same from their colleagues, and this could prove challenging for working relationships. Coaching is very effective to help a person struggling with perfection understand the reasons why they have these beliefs. And it's often because they have a be perfect driver, and really explore them. From here, the client creates better ways of approaching tasks. And with this knowledge and awareness of the pros and detrimental effects of perfectionism that are harmful to well-being, the client can put strategies in place to create new ways of thinking and working. So let's have a look at how lack of confidence and self-belief impacts the workplace. So think about yourself. Thinking back, do you remember a time in your career that you felt you couldn't do something that you were asked to do or that you needed to do? Perhaps you managed to do it, but how long did you spend thinking or worrying about it? You might have even avoided the situation or task, and maybe as a result, you missed out on an opportunity. So most of us do feel uncomfortable when we're asked to do something new or different, and all change causes some level of anxiety. It depends on the person as to how much change is affecting them and how resilient they are as to how anxious or stressed they feel. And in the workplace, this anxiety might be attributed to fear of failure, which links to self-belief and lack of confidence. And pre-pandemic, in 2020, People Management shared a study from IE University, VU University in Amsterdam, and Nyron Road University that found 40% of the 1,000 employees surveyed about their confidence level at work reported spending between 20 and 40% of their time worrying about making mistakes. 20 to 40% is huge if you think about your working day. Think about how your employees' productivity and your organization's profitability could be boosted if the 40% of employees in your workplace who are worried about making mistakes had coaching to overcome their fears or worries and became confident in their abilities and work output. Now, for some, this might be the fear of being judged. It might be the fear of being measured. For others, it could be the pressure of not meeting their own perfectionist standards or worrying that they can't please their boss. Perhaps the employee has a deep-seated, self-limiting belief about themselves that makes them doubt their own ability. And that could be a very powerful belief that could have been in place since early childhood that's impacting their life now. And it might not be a conscious belief, it could be a subconscious belief. Moreover, when freed of unnecessary stress and worry, these employees have more time to be more creative. For years, tech companies have been creating an employee experience such as work environment and free meals, where employees can focus on being creative and innovative and the next gadget or functionality to disrupt the market and take the business forward. So let's have a look at managing lack of confidence and self-belief by coaching. Well, essentially, there's a reason why a person lacks confidence and self-belief, and coaching gives one-on-one time to open up and to talk to identify why. Once the reason has been uncovered, it can be understood in greater depth, and the coachee creates strategic plans, techniques, and new ways of thinking to overcome what was blocking them from being their confident self. So coaching really empowers employees because they're creating their own solution, their own strategies, and they are fully accountable to create their own solutions. And they're fully accountable for their decisions and their commitment to their personal development. And this takes time, practice, and self-discipline. The coach is a trusted accountability partner, and their coach supports and encourages the client to achieve their goals. So the client has removed their blocks. How do they become confident? Well, it may come as a surprise to some that confidence is a skill that is learned rather than an innate talent or a gift that a person is blessed with. A person can be trained in techniques modeled on confident people, such as body language, tone, and pitch of voice, learning to manage worries and be more positive. Each of us is unique, and we each learn, practice, refine, redevelop, and grow our own ways to be confident and shine. Personalized one-to-one coaching gives coachees the edge to craft and develop their own unique confident best self. And to do so, they learn techniques such as neuro-linguistic programming, for example, visualization, and using language patterns to think and speak like a confident, persuasive person. So what to expect from coaching? Coaching can enable perfectionists to really replace this way of thinking with a new, better program and create new habits. And the same applies to those with lack of confidence and self-belief. We replace their way of thinking with a new, better program. And over time, this actually becomes a habit, because the more you repeat the new way of thinking and speaking and behaving, the more it becomes natural and it becomes a habit. Coaching could be on an individual one-to-one basis between the client and the coach, or it can be in a team environment in terms of a coach facilitating a group's activities in a workshop setting. So during the pandemic and social distancing, we can do this online, and when we do return to the workplace, however that may look like, we can adapt and we can provide workshops in person. And we can also provide blended solutions as well, where it's part online, part face-to-face, or part one-to-one and part team. It's a bespoke package. So what is coaching? In its simplest terms, coaching is a form of personal development that firstly helps people identify and utilize their strengths and motivation. And secondly, helps people identify and remove their blocks. And these blocks are what is stopping them from being their best. And that's in order so that they can achieve their potential, perform at their best, and achieve their goals. So how do we do that? Well, here at Clover HR and Clover Coaching, we're trained coaches that use empathy, questioning, active listening, and coaching exercises with clients, using techniques to help clients discover what the real issues or self-beliefs about themselves are that are giving strength to their block or blocks and preventing them from achieving greatness. Once we've identified the blocks preventing our client from doing or achieving what they want or need, we develop a plan together with goals to overcome the blocks. We work through a series of exercises together to help the client understand themselves and their blocks better, in order to challenge their current way of unhelpful thinking and limiting beliefs. We set goals to change unhelpful thinking and behaviours, and the client has tools to use between weekly sessions. Clients will have personal breakthroughs and can see themselves differently, with greater perspective, so that they can make changes and achieve their goals. New habits and ways of thinking are set in place, developing a positive, can-do mindset and resolve any issues. And at Clover Coaching, we're here for our clients emotionally, and our clients really matter. And of course, we take a person-centered approach here at Clover throughout all of our services. So what is really brilliant is that we are now offering a free 50-minute video call, one-to-one coaching sessions for people struggling with perfectionism, self-belief and confidence issues, time management and procrastination, dealing with difficult people and stress management. So if you would like to put yourself forward or somebody within your organisation for the offer, please do get in touch and we will be able to talk to you about how that can work and fit for you. And clients can expect to talk to a trusted, empathetic coach to identify and understand their own blocks and develop strategies to overcome them. And as well as being provided with tools and techniques to use between sessions to achieve their weekly goals. We do recommend a package of 5 weekly sessions in total for the person to demonstrate positive progression and organisational benefits. So if you would like to get in take advantage of this offer, then please get in touch. You can see our contact details on the screen. Okay, so we're now towards the end of the presentation. So this is an opportunity to ask any questions that you may have. So I'll give you a few moments to ask a question. If you could raise your hand, then I will come to you. Thank you. Okay, so there doesn't appear to be any questions. I did have some questions that already came in via email, so I can address these. And if you think of anything as I'm giving the Q&A, then please feel free to ask a question, raise your hand, and I'll come to you. So the first question that we had was, what if there's somebody struggling with confidence and they feel so debilitated by it that they actually feel that they can't even cope with a coaching session? In answer to this question is that we would really welcome somebody who is feeling this way to have coaching, because actually they are going to get a huge benefit. We will always bespoke sessions and we will go slowly with people in exactly how that support them exactly how they can step forward. What we do is we're extremely sensitive and empathetic to the problems that somebody is facing. And we set up a very inclusive environment so that we can adapt to each client to fit their individual needs. We can arrange the session so that it is the most comfortable for that person. And we provide an environment, it's completely confidential one-to-one, and that environment enables the person to open up in a really safe way. So we would really welcome everybody who is feeling this way to get in touch if they feel that coaching would help them. Okay, oops. Okay, right. So I've got a question that's just come up on the screen, which is, why is lack of confidence seen as a weakness, do you think? Well, actually, I'm not sure that it is a weakness. I think being confident is a positive, but I wouldn't say that lack of confidence is a weakness. And that's because confidence is a skill. It's not something we mentioned in the webinar. It's not something that's born with. It's actually something that we can learn. So some of us haven't had the opportunity or haven't had the right training or personal development, or people around us maybe role modeling for us to learn from to actually develop those confidence skills. So confidence is definitely an enabler. We know that people are more satisfied and positive when they're confident. They're less prone to anxiety. They're less prone to worrying, overthinking, because they're more confident in terms of being maybe, well, more, perhaps an example might be being more assertive, and they're also more likely to get what they want or compromise better if they're assertive, and that's linked to confidence. So what I would say is that confidence is positive. Lack of confidence is not a weakness. And yeah, I would encourage anybody who feels like they're lacking in confidence to do some personal development, because there's some really easy, simple tips to improve confidence that can make a big difference, that you can find even, by reading some personal development or watching some videos on YouTube. Obviously, what's great about coaching is that it's one-to-one and it's fully personalized to the client, so that you can actually talk about your specific needs and your specific experiences. And it's way more effective because it's bespoke. That was a brilliant question. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so we've got another question that came in, and please keep the questions coming if you have them on the webinar. There's a person in line for promotion, but confidence is holding them back, and we're really frustrated because this person is technically really sound, and they're ready for promotion technically, but it's the soft skill, which is a skill of confidence, that's holding them back. So basically, in this example here, we need to understand the reason why. Perhaps this person believes that they haven't got the experience or skills to manage people, if that's something new for them. Perhaps they're worried about the pressures of managing people. Perhaps they're worried about their direct reports, perhaps with them being promoted and their direct reports were previously colleagues and are now actually in their team, and they're worried that they're not going to be able to have that gravitas, professionalism, in order to create that leadership, to be seen as a leader and a manager rather than a colleague. So really what needs to be done in this, I would recommend that actually talk to the employee in question and really understand their reasons as to why they feel that they're not ready for this promotion, what's holding them back specifically. I mean, it could be they've got a self-limiting belief about their own abilities. I'll never be good at line managing. It's not for me. Notice never. Well, it's impossible to never be good at something. We just don't know that. And it's a huge generalization as well, because there's some aspects of line management that the person has a potential to be really good at. There's perhaps parts that, take a bit more time and experience and to learn. So as you can see, there's so much more than meets the eye, and we're not in the workplace. We're not trained coaches. We maybe have great people skills, interpersonal skills. We may have some coaching skills, mentoring skills as well. But really where we can really add value and understand, which is way more efficient for you as well as business leaders, is to invest in coaching so that we can really understand the issues at hand and put in place ways for the employee to be empowered to overcome them and learn different techniques and ways of thinking and mindset. Okay. Oh yeah, and then I think maybe this came across anyway, is that definitely one size doesn't fit all. We're all individuals, and that's really quite brilliant and something that we should celebrate. So it's just something else to bear in mind, is that definitely that's part of the coaching experience, that it's a bespoke individual program. Okay, since we've no further questions, I'll proceed to the next slide. So thank you so much for joining us here today. It's been an absolute pleasure. Please check out our website for more webinars. We have regular webinars, and you can also watch previous webinars on our YouTube channel and via our website, which you can see listed here. It's cloverhr.co.uk. My name's Kerry Cooper. My email is there if you would like to get in touch, and also my phone number. And I'd appreciate if you wanted to get in touch and have a chat. That would be great. So lovely to spend time with you today. And thanks so much for your participation. I hope to see you on a future webinar soon. Thank you so much. Bye.